Part 7. Group Recitals. Group recitals are selected from available material on the basis that their greatest value is extracted when they are studied in company. They are also studied in solitude. When this is done, the student is instructed to read the recitals in any order different from the sequence in which they appear here. His choice of sequence is believed to form a part of the study itself. The present sequence is the group recital sequence. The price. One day, two dervishes were arguing. Ibrahim ben Adam said to one of them, "The life of renunciation has been wasted upon you. You got it cheaply, and so you do not value it." The dervish sneered and said, "And what price, pay, did you pay for being a dervish?" Ibrahim said, "I exchanged it for the kingdom of Balkh, and even then I regard that as a cheap price, brother." The gardener. One day, Ibrahim was working as a gardener when his master asked him to give him some pomegranates. He brought several, but they were all sour. His employer said, "You have been in my employment for such a long time, and yet you do not know which of the pomegranates is sweet." Ibrahim answered, "I was employed to tend them, not to taste them. How can I know which ones are sweet?" It was then that the owner of the orchard realized that this must be Ibrahim ben Adam. The caravanserai. Once Khidr went to the king's palace and made his way right up to the throne. Such was the strangeness of his appearance that none dared to stop him. The king, who was Ibrahim ben Adam, asked him what he was looking for. The visitor said, "I am looking for a sleeping place in this caravanserai." Ibrahim answered, "This is no caravanserai, this is my palace." The stranger said, "Whose was it before you?" "My father's," said Ibrahim. "And before that?" "My grandfather." "And this place where people come and go, staying and moving on, you call other than a caravanserai?" The book. Ibrahim dreamt once that he saw the angel Gabriel. The angel had a book in his hand, and Ibrahim asked what it contained. Gabriel said, "In this book I am writing the names of the friends of God." Ibrahim asked, "Is my name to be there?" The angel replied, "Ibrahim, you are not a friend of God." Ibrahim answered, "That is so, but I am a friend of the friends of God." For a time Gabriel said nothing. Then he addressed Ibrahim. "I have received instructions to record your name at the head of this list, for hope is born of lack of hope." Religion. All religion, as theologians and their opponents understand the word, is something other than what it is assumed to be. Religion is a vehicle. Its expressions, rituals, moral and other teachings are designed to cause certain elevating effects at a certain time upon certain communities. Because of the difficulty of maintaining the science of man, religion was instituted as a means of approaching truth. The means always became, for the shallow, the end, and the vehicle became the idol. Only the man of wisdom, not the man of faith or intellect, can cause the vehicle to move again. Alauddin Attar. Prayer. The great Sheikh Simak taught this as the prayer secret. Man can pray only to the extent of his capacity. If he is alone, or taught to pray through books or in seminaries, he cannot understand or take part in the reality of prayer. one who has learned to pray, and who carries with him the illumination, can pass a portion of it to another man, so that he too can learn and develop prayer in himself. Written prayer is meaningless. The meaning of culture. The Sufic understanding of culture is not that which is understood by the ordinary man, who limits the meaning. Sheikh Abu Nasr Sarraj speaks of these three forms of culture. Worldly culture, which is merely acquiring information, opinions, and learning of a conventionalized kind. Religious culture, which is repetitious, following rules and discipline, behaving in an ethically acceptable way. Sufi culture, which is self-development, realizing what is relevant, concentration and contemplation, cultivation of inner experience, following the path of search and nearness. What Sufism teaches. Sufism teaches how to purify oneself, improve one's morals, and build up one's inner and outer life in order to attain perpetual bliss. Its subject matter is the purification of the soul, and its end, or aim, is the attainment of eternal felicity and blessedness. Sheikh al-Islam Zakaria Ansari. Choosing. Choosing, istifa, is the emptying of the heart of all things other than the search for completion. This resembles a visualization that the body is empty and that all thoughts have left it for a moment, during which time the true thoughts flood in. Hujwiri. The way in which they bring their teaching. Do not expect the way in which they bring their teaching to be wholly within your ordinary way of understanding. A pearl may be carried in a leather purse. The ignorant cry out, "This square object with a flap does not look like the necklace which has been described to me." Arif Yahya. Asked why a certain Sufi sheikh did not appear to the outward eye to follow a religiously devout life, Nizamuddin Auliya said, "Kings bury their treasures in one of two places. The first, and obvious one, is in the strong room, which can be burgled, emptied, or usurped. The other, and more enduring one, is in the earth, in a ruin where nobody would think of looking for it." Formula of Osman of the West. O Mustafa, Rais-i Karawani Ma, perfected one, leader of our caravan. In the name of the friend. Who, friend? We say who, for the chain of transmission, for the leaders of the orders, for the strugglers of truth, for the dervishes present and absent. Who? We invoke the power of the barakah of the community and the great ones upon our assembly. Who? We dedicate our activity this day to the deepest consciousness in all its forms of being. Who? The invocation may commence. Eternal Sufism. Continuously, in commemoration of the friend, we drank wine before the creation of the vine. Ibn al-Farid. The seed of Sufi knowledge. The true seed was made in Adam's time, the miracle of life, existence. It germinated in the period of Noah, the miracle of growth, rescue. By the time of Abraham, it had sent forth branches, the miracle of spreading, maintenance. The epoch of Moses saw the making of the grapes, the miracle of fruit. The time of Jesus was that of the ripening of the yield, the miracle of tasting, joy. Muhammad's time saw the pressing of clear wine, the miracle of attainment, transformation. By Yazid Bistami. In the presence of a wise one. Even if you have only been present in silence at the assembly of a wise one, you have gained more potentiality than you could, by ordinary thinking, ever imagine. Mirza Asim. The aim. The hidden meaning in existence is like a tree subsisting, and the deeply hidden fruit of it is man, O Master. The aim of the bough, O one without a teacher, is ripened fruit, not just another tree alone. Ablahi Mutlaqta. To the Prince. O Fortune, you have ennobled my mind. By this book you have elevated me. The idea was not mine that you should be the companion of my state. You opened the door of my domain. You showed me the treasure of guidance. We came together in this message which you sent the king. When you constrained me from fanciful thoughts, I spoke words of this sublimity. When the king's gaze fell upon it, he accepted it 100-fold. The Halima of Arifi. The Assemblies of Wisdom. A man will fill himself with book studies and facts. He, or another man, will fill himself with exercises and practices. In both of these there is the sensation of accomplishment and of significance. But, just as in order to fill a pot we must have a pot, something with which to fill it, and a sense of measure, only by the correct application of these factors can man really succeed in his high task of true fulfillment. Only in this way can he find himself. In many other ways he can think that he has found himself, or that he is finding himself, or that someone can find him for himself. We cannot be concerned about such people, except to be solicitous of their peace of mind and bodily health. In order to reach and apply the measure of which I speak, a man must find an assembly of wisdom. It is here, and nowhere else, that the measure is to be acquired. There. You have had your warning. Now go and find the assembly of wisdom. You will find one whose true usefulness corresponds exactly with your inner sincerity. If you are a hypocrite, you will fall among hypocrites, no matter what they seem to you to be like, or what you seem to them to be like, or what they seem to each other to be like. The Calendar Idries Shah. How the search for knowledge is frustrated. It is frustrated by pretense. There is that which man knows within himself. He does not recognize it for what it is. He pretends that he can, or cannot, understand it. He does not know that he needs a certain preparation. There is what man thinks that he knows, but does not. He only knows about a part of the things which he knows. This partial knowledge is in some ways worse than no knowledge at all. There is also what man does not know, and cannot know at any given stage. This, however, he believes that he must know. He seeks it, or something that will seem to him to be this thing. Since he has no real measuring stick, he starts to pretend. Study theme of the Azamiya Dervishes. The Prelude to Realization. O Sufi, wine becomes clear only after 40 days, and a man must be Solomon before his magic ring will work. Hafiz. Symptoms. One man has a headache, another blurred vision. Both are caused by the wrong food. Say your digestion is upset, and both will reply, "Away, fool. We seek relief to head and eye, not absurdity." Hamami. Remembering. Everything is dependent upon remembering. One does not begin by learning, one starts by remembrance. The distance of eternal existence and the difficulties of life cause one to forget. It is for this reason God has commanded us, remember. Sheikh Ismail Haki. The problem of music. Be sure that you do not train yourself to music, in case this holds you back from even higher perceptions. Ibn Hamdan. Wild utterances. We give out strange phrases to ordinary people because our experiences cannot be put in their ordinary phrases. I have known that which cannot be described through and through, and that which is in it overwhelms all ordinary definition. Ibn Atta. The atom. Crack the heart of any atom. From its midst you will see a sun shining. If you give all you have to love, I'll be called a pagan if you suffer a molecule of loss. The soul passed through the fire of love will let you see the soul transmuted. If you escape the narrowness of dimensions, and will see the time of what is placeless, you will hear what has never been heard, and you will see what has never been seen, until they deliver you to a place where you will see a world and worlds as one. You shall love unity with heart and soul, until with the true eye, you will see unity. Syed Ahmad Hatif. Thou art there. The flitting of a light in desert dusk, thou art there. The weary duty of the Magian's forced ritual, thou art there. The movement in response to another movement, thou art there. Not in the book of the scribe, but in the smile at it, thou art there. The grace of the graceful, not the mind of the graceful, thou art there. The question and answer between them, not in them, thou art there. Between the lumbering paces of the elephant, thou art there. In harmony, in love, in being itself, in truth, in absoluteness, thou art there. The pearl rejected by the oyster fancier, thou art there. The inexplicability of non-rhythm, of seeming change, thou art there. The interchange, pulsation, sweetness, silence, rest. Incongruity and in incongruity, thou art there. In the glow, the spark, the leaping flame, the warmth and the burning, in the relaxation and the agitation, thou art there. Hekali. To reach the degree of truth. None attains to the degree of truth until 1,000 honest people have testified that he is a heretic. Junaid of Baghdad. Death does not visit more than once. Be prepared, therefore, for its coming. Abu Shafiq of Balkh. Obedience. The lowest form of obedience is performing actions for someone else. The high form of obedience is when one desists from behavior which one desires to carry out. The highest form of obedience is to be able to carry out no action at all. When this is possible, the other forms of obedience are also possible. Together they make up what people, ignorantly, imagine to be one single thing: obedience. The first thing to learn is that what you have been accustomed to calling obedience is always either habit or servitude, whether it gives you pleasure or not. Hanisa Imtihani. That which you admire in the Sufis. Whatever you admire in the achievements of the ocean of Sufis is as a droplet compared with their real attainments, which are hidden from you while you look at their external face alone. Musa Kazim. The path and the gate. A path and a gateway have no meaning or use once the objective is in sight. Ujwiri. What to do and what to have done. All wisdom can be stated in 2 lines. What is done for you, allow it to be done. What you must do yourself, make sure you do it. Kawas. Saving oneself. Have you heard the tale told by the incomparable master of our path, Maulana Rumi? It is this one to which I refer. There was once a man who owned some livestock, and when he heard that Moses knew the language of animals, he prevailed upon him to teach him. Armed with this knowledge, he listened to what his animals said. The cock told the dog that the horse was going to die soon, and the man understood. So he sold the horse before he incurred any loss. Some time later, again using his knowledge, he overheard the cock telling the dog that the mule would die before long, and so he was able to sell him too, so as to avoid any loss. The cock next said that the man's slave was about to die. The man gleefully sold the slave in order to save himself money. He was very pleased with himself, and imagined that this was the value of knowledge to help man in his day-to-day affairs. Now, however, the man heard the cock telling the dog that he, the man, was about to die. He ran in panic to see Moses, seeking his advice as to what to do. Moses said, "You can go and sell yourself now." Take heed of this teaching, that the knowledge of how to see the characteristics of others avails man nothing in respect of his greatest need, himself. Anis Ahmad ibn al-Alawi. The Tattooed Lion. Once there was a man who wanted to have a lion tattooed on his back. He went to a tattoo artist and told him what he wanted. But as soon as he felt the first few pricks, this man began to moan and groan. "Oh, you're killing me! What part of the lion are you marking?" I'm just doing the tail now," said the artist. "Then let us leave out the tail," howled the other. So the artist started again, and again the client could not stand the pricks. "What part of the lion is it this time?" he cried, "for I cannot stand the pain." "This time," said the tattooist, "it is the lion's ear." "Oh, let us have a lion without an ear," gasped his patient. So the tattooist tried again. No sooner had the needle entered his skin than the victim squirmed again. "Which part of the lion is it this time?" "This is the lion's stomach," wearily answered the artist. "I don't want a lion with a stomach," said the other man. Exasperated and distraught, the tattoo artist stood a while. Then he threw his needle down and cried, "A lion without a head, with no tail, without a stomach? Who could draw such a thing? Even God did not. Rumi. The Saint and Essence. The saint is subordinated to his essence, a devotee, but in the way of essence. His work arrives at its end, when its beginning arrives again at its end. Shabistari. Evolution. First of all, he came into the inert world. From minerality he developed into the realm of vegetation. For years he lived thus. Then he passed into an animal state, yet bereft of any memory of his being vegetable, except for his attraction to spring and to blossoms. This was something like the innate desire of an infant for its mother's breast, or like the affinity of disciples for an illustrious guide. When the shadow is no more, they know the cause of their attachment to the teacher. From realm to realm man went, reaching his present reasoning, knowledgeable, robust state, forgetting earlier forms of intelligence. So too shall he pass beyond the current form of perception. There are 1,000 other forms of mind. But he has fallen asleep. He will say, I had forgotten my fulfillment, ignorant that sleep and fancy were the cause of my sufferings. He says, my sleeping experiences do not matter. Come, leave such asses to their meadow. Because of necessity, man acquires organs. So, necessitous one, increase your need. Rumi. Dark and light. Evening precedes morning, and night becomes dawn. Hafiz. Immortality. The honour of man is his learning. Wise people are torches lighting the path of truth. In knowledge lies man's opportunity for immortality. While man may die, wisdom lives eternally. Ali. Fools and wickedness. More harm is done by fools through foolishness than is done by evildoers through wickedness. The Prophet. Men and knowledge. There are many trees, not all of them bear fruit. There are many fruits, not all of them may be eaten. Many, too, are the kinds of knowledge, yet not all of them are of value to men. Jesus, son of Mary, according to the book of Amudaya. Men and kings. Kings rule men, wise men rule kings. Abu el-Aswad. If you like asceticism. Asceticism can be a weakness, the fulfillment of a desire, and due to lack of real fortitude. Hassan of Basra. Think. All men, except for the learned, are dead. Sal of Tusta. What is identity? When someone knocked on the door, Bayezid called out, "Whom do you seek?" The caller answered, "Bayezid." Bayezid replied, "I too have been seeking Bayezid for 3 decades, and I have not yet found him." What the wise do. The wise man is he who does today what fools will do 3 days later. Abdullah ibn Mubarak. The answer. We wrote 100 letters, and you did not write an answer. This, too, is a reply. Zalki. Sleeping. O you who fear the difficulties of the road to annihilation, do not fear. It is so easy, this road, that it may be travelled sleeping. Mir Yaya Kashi. Man. With 100,000 perceptors, the sphere revolves round the earth seeking man. But where is man? Astrabadi. The dog and the blows. I saw a guard hitting a dog with a stick. The dog was howling as it suffered the strokes. I said, "O dog, why has he struck you?" He said, "He cannot bear to see one better than himself." Shibli. The price. O you who say, "Why buy wine with your life?" Ask this question of our cupbearer, who has made the price so cheap. Figani. We are alive. We are waves whose stillness is non-being. We are alive because of this, that we have no rest. Abu Talib Kalim. What is virtue? Look around you at people who have virtues. You will find that many people have not been ennobled by their practices, though they have that repute. The practice of virtues is in itself next to nothing. A thread is not made into a jewel because it passes through the holes in a series of pearls. I was unable to learn, let alone teach, until I had realized that a desolate place is not made fertile merely by the presence of a treasure beneath the ground. Hamid Kalindoz. Knowing. He who knows and does not know that he knows, he is asleep. Let him become one, whole. Let him be awakened. He who has known but does not know, let him see once more the beginning of all. He who does not wish to know, and yet says that he needs to know, let him be guided to safety and to light. He who does not know, and knows that he does not know, let him, through this knowledge, know. He who does not know but thinks that he knows, set him free from the confusion of that ignorance. He who knows and knows that he is wise. Let him be followed. By his presence alone, man may be transformed. I who know, and do not know that I know, let me become one, whole. Let me be awakened. I who have known but do not know, let me see once more the beginning of all. I who do not wish to know, and yet say that I need to know, let me be guided to safety and to light. I who do not know, and know that I do not know, let me, through this knowledge, know. I who do not know but think that I know, set me free from the confusion of that ignorance. He who knows, and knows that he is wise. Let him be followed. By his presence alone, man may be transformed. We who know, and do not know that we know, let us become one, whole. Let us be transformed. We who have known, but do not know, let us once more see the beginning of all. We who do not wish to know, and yet say that we need to know, let us be guided to safety and to light. We who do not know, and know that we do not know, let us, through this knowledge, know. we who do not know, but think that we know, set us free from the confusion of that ignorance. He who knows, and knows that he is wise. Let him be followed. By his presence alone, man may be transformed. As with our forebears, so with our successors, so with us. We affirm this undertaking. So let it be. Samoon Recital. The Swimmer. Man in ordinary life finds difficulties and seeks happiness. He cannot attain satisfaction or permanently overcome difficulties when he is in a state of ignorance and incapacity. He can, however, arrive at a state in which he believes that his difficulties are gone, or even that he knows things which he does not know. This is the state of those who manipulate their minds, or who allow themselves, because of the tension of their state, to adopt the assurances and techniques of the ignorant. Man is like a swimmer who is fully dressed and hampered every moment by his clinging clothes. He must know why he cannot swim before steps can be taken to make it possible. It is no solution for him to have the impression that he is swimming properly, for this may make him feel better and prevent him from arriving at the farther bank of the river. Such men and women drown. Latif Ahmad. The Teacher. Seek the appearance of a teacher who does not seem to be the kind of teacher expected by the thinker or the pious. This is because among the thinkers and the pious, there are some who will recognize him in any case. But those who have merit and ability for the way, and are not accustomed to the behavior of the thinking and the pious, will reject the teacher if he wears the appearance of those whom they do not understand. Najmuddin Kubra. Touching the patchwork robe. Simply touch the patchwork robe of a complete man, and you incur the greatest benefit possible to an unregenerate individual. You owe such a man a very great debt. Similarly, attendance at the meeting of a pretended Sufi will drain from you a part of your very life. Halima Hanim. The Celestial Apple. Ibn Nasir was ill, and although apples were out of season, he craved one. Hallaj suddenly produced one. Someone said, "This apple has a maggot in it. How could a fruit of celestial origin be so infested?" Hallaj explained, "It is just because it is of celestial origin that this fruit has become affected. It was originally not so, but when it entered this abode of imperfection, it naturally partook of the disease which is characteristic here."